On this episode of the Who Is This podcast, brought to you by Sierra Pacific Mortgage of the Gila Valley and Double R Communications, we had the pleasure of speaking with Lamar Skinner. Lamar is from the Gila Valley. I've known Lamar for my entire life, pretty much. He's a great guy, and I really enjoyed the conversation we had. We talked about hobbies in this podcast, which was a lot of fun. Talked about hunting. I'm a huge hunter, and so is Lamar. So that was fun. And we also talked about Lamar's hobby / business that he kind of started up within the last year, actually a year ago this month, which is a clothing brand called Lucky Tines. He kind of talked about the idea behind Lucky Tines and what it means to him. We talked about kind of personal insecurities and getting past that and not letting those types of things hold you back, which is something that hits close to home for me, just in what I do. And it was cool that Lamar was able to open up about that a little bit. And kind of just talk about how important it is to kind of put yourself out there and go for your dreams and you know see what can come about from it. His side business is doing good, and it's going to continue to grow. It's a really cool product. Make sure you check it out. You can find him on Instagram at LuckyTinesAZ. So make sure you do that, and hope you enjoy the podcast.
But the year before,
the year before, I think I did the same thing, but he drew a youth hunt.
I'll probably do that. I'll probably do just youth hunts only, and then me put in for like 29, and then second choice 30A, which I usually always draw at 30A tag, and then if I get drawn,
you step out there.
And then if I get drawn, just send it over to him. Yeah.
So we'll have all this in the podcast just because it's good conversation, but. This is Davis Kempton that's always on the phone and doesn't care about other people's feelings. Just joking. He does. He's awesome. I'm just giving him a hard time. But yeah, so I put Kyson in for the first hunt, or for the first time he could hunt. I put him in for 29 youth. And then the second choice, I think I did the 27, 28 youth. Uh-huh. And then I think third choice I did just like a 28 hunt.
It's a good opportunity to get them just first crack and get them over there. But
yeah, so he drew the youth hunt, and then last year I think I did the same thing, but he didn't draw, but I drew. So then I just signed my tag over to him.
That's a good idea. I probably didn't end up doing that. I'll probably put him in for those youth hunts all across the board, and then just put myself in. And then if I draw and he doesn't, just he's taking the tag.
Right. I think that it increases his chance of getting drawn. So you gotta be okay with not hunting yourself, which kind of sucks.
I know.
But
I'm gonna hit it hard with the archery this year. That's my plan. So
yeah. Well, and honestly, dude, I'm okay not having a tag because I have just as much fun when he's hunting. Like it's so exciting, dude. It's so much freaking fun.
I'm really excited.
When did he turn 10?
He'll turn July.
Oh, he still hasn't even turned 10, so.
He'll turn July.
Yeah, man.
So him and I will get to hunt archery together in August, September, and then hopefully get a chase with the rifle.
Yeah. Right on, man. Does he have a bow?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he shoots a lot.
Does he?
Yeah, I've got him out. He's shooting pretty consistently out to 20, and then he can stretch it to 30 if he has to.
What's going to be your strategy as far as archery hunting with him?
I don't know. We've talked about that. Probably we'll end up setting a blind together, I'm sure.
I think that's the only way to do it with kids.
Yeah.
It'd be so hard to spot and stock with kids.
Uh-huh. Yeah, but he's been with me in the hills since he was, since he could walk. He'd come with me and we'd do little, what he thought were hunts, but to us,
right.
And so he's totally in on it, but we've talked about that. We'll probably just end up setting a blind.
That's what I would do. I think that as far as with a bow, that's going to give him the best chance of shooting a deer with a bow.
I wish I was familiar enough with like a tree stand where we would both sit a tree stand, because that way just wind and all those other variables, like we could, but I'm not experienced enough to put both of us in the tree.
Yeah.
I could do it, but not both
on
of us.
One stand.
Yeah.
Do two different stands.
I know. Well,
do like you up above him or something.
Well, that's the thing though, is I'm not, like, he's not comfortable enough with it either.
Gotcha.
Whereas I'm not comfortable to say, hey, if you're not comfortable, that type of thing. And so I don't know. I just would be like, I don't know. I've thought about it. But I think a blind is what I'll do.
I've never tagged out a big game animal in a blind or a stand with my bow.
Just small game? Like, what do you mean?
Yeah,
like rabbits or coyote?
So I set a blind. Actually, I didn't even. It was like someone had made a blind. I found some up on the Kaibab when I had that Kaibab hunt.
Oh, just like a ground blind.
Someone
like a brush blind.
Someone made like a brush blind that I found while I was up there, and I was like, I'll set this for a few days. And so I'm trying to remember. What did I shoot first? Okay, that's what happened. So I was sitting there in the evening. And right at dark, a coyote came in.
Were you just sitting in water?
And yeah, I was just sitting in a little dirt tank. And right at dark, a coyote came in, and I pulled back and shot, and I missed.
Oh crap!
And I was like, gosh dang it! And so then I didn't even go find my arrow. I was like frustrated and stuff. And so I was like, and I was planning on coming back the next morning. I was like, I'll find it tomorrow afternoon after I sit the morning hunt. So I got out of there, and then the next morning I came in the same blind and sat, and it was barely light enough to see my pins, and I see a bobcat walking, on the back side of it.
Skirting it.
Yeah, just kind of like just doing its thing, and I was sitting there watching it, and it starts working its way around, and it went right to the exact same spot as where that coyote was, and I shot over its back, and I was like, oh, I'm going to smoke this thing. And so, and it was crazy because it saw me all the way on the other side. It saw some movement, and so it like starts stalking me around. And so it's like, it's working its way up, and it gets right where that coyote was, like up on this little berm. And I draw back, and I hear that I hit it. And
just that thwop.
Yeah, I hear that I hit it, and it like falls on it looks like it just falls on the back side of that, but I could hear it moving through the brushes and everything, but I knew it was going to be down. So I can't see it though, because it falls back on the back side of that berm. And I was like, oh sweet, I guess I'm not hunting. I wanted to go make sure that it died. It wasn't, sitting there suffering or whatever. So I go to try to find it, and as I walk up over that berm, a coyote's laying there dead, and I'm like, what the heck? I was so confused. I was like, I know that was a bobcat. I was like, oh, I hit that coyote. I killed that coyote, dude. It dropped instantly based off of where I hit it, and so that's why I thought I missed, because it just fell on the other side of that berm, and I didn't see it run or hear it. Like, it literally just dropped right there, but I just couldn't see it because it was, anyways. So I was like super confused, and it was that coyote was laying there, but then I could see the blood trail, and I trailed and had the bobcat too. So in the evening I shot the coyote, and then the very next morning I shot the bobcat. Those are the only two things I've ever shot from a blind. Literally both were standing in the same exact spot.
What are the odds?
Yeah. That's what I love about hunting though, dude. Like, you never know what's going to happen once you're out there. There's so many different things that could happen.
It really is. And hunting is, it is hard mentally, because just there, case in point, you thought you missed.
Yeah.
You probably went home and you were like, dude, I freaking suck. Like I'm the worst. I can't do this. I can't do that. How am I going to hit this? You're frustrated. I missed how far of a shot was it? 20 yards? It
was like 30 yards. Yeah.
That's a poke.
Yeah. It was a longer shot for that size of a target.
Still, and here the whole time you.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I went back to camp that evening because I was camping out. I was all the way, on the North Rim. And so I had a camp set up, but I was by myself. So it was at least a week into the hunt too. And so you start to have you have to get past that mental am I doing out here? Yeah.
Gap. Yeah. There is, man. It's, and when you already struggle with like feelings of like, I've got to get this done, it just amplifies when you can't. Yeah. When you feel like, oh, another day went past. I'm
running out of time.
Like, yeah. And so it's such a mental game.
Yeah. Especially when you have like a premium tag like that.
Yeah.
Because the pressure starts to add up, because usually it takes years to draw a tag like that. And so I missed that coyote. So that night I was like, is my bow on? Like, what? I'm glad that wasn't a big old buck sitting there or standing there, but what if it was? Would I have missed that too? So you start to doubt yourself. And
yeah, but I mean, were you like, after that, were you like, yeah, okay, I've got this?
It was, I mean, especially because
Confidence booster.
that next morning when I plunked that bobcat and then saw that I did get the coyote too, I was like, oh, my bow's dialed in. Like, I just got to get a good opportunity on a good buck. And then I,
you ended up getting a pretty good deal, though, didn't you?
Yeah, I think it was the very next day. So I think it was 3 days in a row.
I got same stand? No, because you said you never shot one from.
Nope. I got the deer. It was a spot and stock on that, which I can't even really say it was spot and stock because I saw him off of a dirt road and then kind of stalked him from there.
I've heard in that area, that's what you do because it's so thick.
You almost have to. Yeah.
Sorry, guys.
Hi, Davis. It's all right, dude. We're just talking hunting.
When I left, I didn't realize we were recording
no,
already.
It's all right. We'll have Courtney start it at like when you walk out.
Yeah. Okay.
And then we'll, anyway. So, but no. So
incredibly rude, by the way, Lamar. Thank you so much for being
here. I see the hospitality of how it goes around here. So
we actually haven't even said who we're talking to yet. So Lamar Skinner is our guest today on the Who Is This podcast.
Welcome.
Thanks, man. Thanks for having me. I'm honored.
But yeah, in that unit, there was a burn, I don't know, however long ago. So the regrowth it's so thick. So it's nice because there's also a lot of 2-track roads up there. There's tons of roads to drive
everywhere.
So it's really, I mean, people knock it all the time, road hunting, but it's an effective way to do it. As long as you're not shooting from the truck and doing anything illegal, it's a good way to see a lot of deer.
I've heard that you catch a lot of deer just you come around the corner and they're just there.
Yeah.
I listened to a podcast a couple weeks ago and same thing, that these guys killed a huge buck same way, and they saw him multiple times in the same spot. But once he dives off, it's so thick that you're not seeing him again.
They go into the thick aspen trees, I think is what they are, and it's almost impossible. So you've got to get them at water or just find a window. That's the other thing about hunting is there's so many different challenges, and especially archery hunting. It's so much more difficult than rifle hunting. If there's ever a rifle hunter that argues that, I'll just ignore them because there's no question that archery hunting is harder than rifle hunting.
They just haven't been doing it long enough if they say that.
Right. And I do both. I'm a fan of both. I like doing both, but I'm sorry, if you're a rifle hunter that says it's just as hard to rifle hunt as it is archery hunt, you're in denial, dude.
Yeah. What's the saying? Bow hunting sucks until it doesn't. Like all of a sudden it's like you're just grinding, you're just struggling, even practicing, and all of a sudden it's like, wow, I had a really good day. Like I feel good. And then you go back the next day and you're like, okay, I humbled myself again. Like it's just constantly revolving.
Bow hunting, there's just so many different variables that everything just has to go perfect for it to connect. Rifle hunting, you can make mistakes and still get your deer, your animal. With bow hunting, if you make a mistake, you're not going to get that deer at that instance, at least. You usually only get one shot.
I agree. I'm definitely not proficient in archery whatsoever. I've taken a few big game animals, but nothing compared to some people. And it is, you're constantly learning, you're constantly evolving, and it's something that you're constantly trying to best yourself at too. Like you're trying to practice. You're never going to be perfect at it. Never.
Right.
Like there's always form you can work on. There's always something of a shot release. There's equipment. There's something that you can tune. There's tinkering. Like there's always something you can do. I love it.
What's your preference? Do you prefer bow hunting or rifle hunting?
Oh, man, I guess rifle because it's less pressure, but bow hunting because of opportunity and the time of year it is.
There's a lot more opportunity.
Yeah, there is. And like to be able to chase elk with a bow it's the ultimate. Dude. It's the ultimate.
Elk during the rut with a bow, there's nothing like it.
It's insane. To chase even a javelina with a bow is so fun.
Yeah.
It is one of the most underrated, in my opinion, animals to chase with a bow.
Yeah, no, it is fun.
It's a javelina.
And I think partly javelina and elk too during the rut at least is I think you do have more opportunity. It's not as when you're spot and stalking a coos deer or a mule deer, if you get that shot and you miss, that's the only shot you're getting.
Yeah.
But when you get into a group of elk that are rutting, it's not uncommon for them to circle back around. If you get between multiple bulls, they come back in. And it's the same thing with javelina too, is you can usually
you can blow them out, call them back in.
They'll come back in, yeah.
Yeah. And then even with your early archery, it's fun with the bow. But even late archery, I had a late archery hunt this last year. One of the hardest hunts I've done.
Yeah. Did you tag out?
It's a
sore subject.
Yeah. I hit a good bull. I never could find him.
What unit?
I don't know if I want to say it.
You don't have to. No, that's fine.
No, it was a good unit. It was a really good unit. It was up north, and we had 2 tags, my hunting partner and I, and he shot a really good bull.
Duskin?
Duskin. Yeah. He shot a really good bull, and that was awesome. It was so cool to be a part of it. I ended up shooting one, and it was the highs and lows, man. I shot him and hit one lung. So he ended up getting away.
Yeah.
But it was just so fun to be on those stalks. If I would have had a rifle, he would have been done multiple times. But having to close that distance to bow range is so hard. Yeah. And when you're it's the shooting lanes, the wind, everything comes into play.
Yep. I had an archery antelope tag in 2018, and I'm convinced that antelope are the easiest thing to hunt with the rifle and the hardest thing to hunt with the bow, because every single day I was getting to about 100 yards of a really good antelope, and it was so hard to get any closer because they're out in the middle of nowhere, out in the open. There's not cover to stalk. They have great eyesight. I mean, it's just, so it was easy to get within 100 yards. And then from there, I just didn't have a whole lot of opportunity. I didn't tag out on that one. But if I had a rifle, I would have tagged out opening day, no question.
Yeah, I can miss pretty good with a rifle too, though.
That happens too. Yep, that happens too. What gun do you shoot?
I used to shoot a 243. I've shot the last 8 deer with that 243.
Yeah.
And
so I grew up hunting with.
Just recently, the last couple of years, got a 6.5 PRC.
Okay. More of a long distance rifle.
Yeah, just has a little more punch to it.
Yeah.
A little less recoil still, but has a little bit more of that punch, but not a Creedmoor either. So it's just that.
What's the difference between a Creedmoor and a PRC?
Isaac could probably answer that.
I
one
honestly
pretty
couldn't.
Good.
I'm a hunter. I'm not a
So 6.5 Creedmoor and the 6.5 PRC. The easiest way that I would describe it is the 6.5 PRC is like the big brother to the Creedmoor. So the Creedmoor, they shoot the same caliber, 6.5, 284, but the PRC just has it's like a short action Magnum. I don't know if that makes sense.
That's a much better description than I would have been able to give.
So it's still a short action, but you're just able to, it's just a little shorter and fatter, and just gives it like 200 or 300 feet per second more. So it's still shooting the same grain, just giving it a little bit more oomph. So you can it works really good when you hand load with it. Because you can just have a little more velocity.
Do you do your own loading?
I have a friend that's helped me a lot.
That's
so
cool.
He's helped me hand load, and that 243 is hand loaded, and just it's dialed. So I trust it so much. Same with that 6.5 PRC. It just hand loads are where it's at.
There's hunters that are like equipment junkies where they could tell you I'm not that type at all. Like,
really?
I
would have taken you so
I'm not an
opposite.
I mean, I have good equipment, but I couldn't tell you why, like so for example, my brother-in-law, he's a huge archery hunter. He loves archery hunting, and he gets into the equipment. Like he's constantly changing things on his bow, constantly just because he loves to tinker with it and try different things. Like he'll try new sights. Honestly, he gets a new bow every year probably just to try the new bows. And I'm just not that type. I get my setup that I like, and I just stick with it. And then I like hunting. I'm not a huge, like, I don't go out and shoot my rifle just to shoot my rifle.
Oh, really?
I go and shoot it to zero it in. I enjoy shooting it, but that's the other thing you have like hunting as a hobby, and then you have all these other things that are like sub hobbies. Like hunting takes up enough of my time already. Like there's no way I would have time to do my own loading,
Well, and I I would say that I nerd out on the gear too. So I love information. I love gear. I love, seeing like what's the newest and greatest. But I also love sticking with what works too. So like if I got something that works, hey, she's fine. She's good. But I also, to your point of hobbies, I don't have many other hobbies like that.
Yeah.
Like all those hobbies revolve around outdoors.
Right.
For me, like I will golf. I will do little things like that here and there. It's more of just socializing. Like somebody invites and I want to go hang with somebody or whatever. But pretty much everything hobby-wise is centered around, I would say, outdoors for me. So it's just really easy to just, like you said, not have to prioritize your time with all your other wants and hobbies. Like if I want to reload, then great, it's towards my hobby. If I want to shed hunt, or if I want to archery or just go shoot for the weekend or tinker, it's all gears towards that one passion.
So you mentioned shed hunting. How long have you been into shed hunting? Because I feel like that's definitely gotten more popular with social media.
It has.
Did you do it have you always shed hunted? Like
by accident, yeah. Like we'd be walking in the hills just like I'm sure you have, and pick up a shed and you're like, oh, that's cool. And, and bring it home, and your dad probably wouldn't even blink twice about it, right? But we always had them around the house. But it wasn't until, when was it? Maybe, I have to look on my phone, but my brother actually started going out looking for coos deer sheds. I'm like, oh, I'll go with you, because I'd never just been out looking for them. So it's probably been like 6 or 7 years. And since then, it's just what I've just loved to do.
Have you the more you've done it, have you honed in on different strategies and tactics as far as what you do to be more successful shed hunting? Because
the number one for me is wandering.
Getting lucky.
Just wander. I'm pretty good at wandering.
I was going to ask, how do you pick where to go?
Yeah, I think that's the key, is just looking at a place and saying, let me try it, and seeing if there's sign in there. Just looking for the right type of sign, whether it's elk or deer, and just seeing if there's sign for the time that they're supposed to shed. If there's sign in there, then they're probably in there. If there's water in there, there's a good chance. Coos deer, they're so hard to find sheds with, but I love it. I found some really cool ones. I'll have to show you some pictures, but I love it because my boy likes it. And maybe he likes it because I like it. I don't know. But we go out together, and I very rarely go out just by myself.
Well, I mean, it's like an adult Easter egg hunt.
It's a participation trophy for sure. So.
Well, it makes sense that kids would like it, because my kids love going on Easter egg hunts. So
and so like coos deer, we'll just go out, and I've got a couple of spots that we just go, and we just start walking and gridding, and then once I start with a pattern, then I will stick with that pattern. But it could be whatever pattern I'm going to choose for that day. And then I start looking at my phone, and it shows the tracks, and I'm like, okay, I walked here, and then I'll just kind of keep closing the distance. And
you just use the Onyx Maps thing.
That's what I use, yeah.
There's an app that it's basically like in the cartoons, how when you see them dropping loaves of bread or whatever, crumbs. It's like that, but
just
it's
tracks,
on an app. It just shows exactly where you walked.
Shows you where you walked, and you can drop a pin.
You can also use Onyx apps to look up property owners.
Yeah.
So I do that.
I used to have that, and I quit paying for it. It's a paid app, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's pretty
I
inexpensive.
think it's like $100 a year or something.
Not even. I think it's only like $35 a year.
Oh, really?
For the one I use. But
there's different memberships, and so I think that mine was more because I did it for multiple states. But yeah.
Yeah, I think shed hunting for me, I definitely don't identify as, that's not who I am. I'm not just solely a shed hunter. It's just another hobby.
Yeah.
That I enjoy, mainly because I like where it's taken me. I really love, it's not necessarily finding the shed or what's there, but where it takes me. I'm like, I never would have went there if it wasn't for looking for an antler.
Right.
Because there's a lot of places where you go to hunt, right? And you don't want to drop into that canyon because you don't want to blow everything out. And so you just stay back and look at everything from afar. With shed hunting, you're dropping into the nasty canyon. You're skirting this stuff that you've never been before. You're just finding these really cool places. Yeah. And I dig it. I love it.
How often do you get to go out and do that?
I make it a point every spring break to go for elk. So every spring break we go up north. I got a good friend that lives up there, and and we go and we spend at least 2 days together to try to shoot for 3. And we just hike up there in the rim country and look for elk sheds. And it's like it's mine and my boy, his name's Cannon. It's our like something to look forward to each year. And we get to camp, we get to hang out with a good friend. And then again, there's just no pressure. There is if you make it.
Right.
If you're like, man, I really want to find if you set your parameters really big. But for us, we're just out there just to have fun. And he's to the age now where he'll find him himself. So that's so fun. It's such a blast to see the excitement come up on his face. And
does he go like hiking off? I mean, obviously you're there in the general area with him, but does he kind of hike off on his own too?
Finally, to where it's just within sight and sound.
Yeah.
So, and then he'll be up above me, and he'll look down below us and be like, "Hey, there's one." I'm like, "Sweet, dude! Like, go grab it." So it's just so it's pretty cool. He has that drive, and again, if he doesn't want to do it, then cool, let's pick something else. But for now, he's way into it. And
it's so
he nerds out on it too, and he'll like look at them, he'll analyze them, and that's what I love about it. Is the other aspect is that every antler is different. Like I haven't found, unless it's from the same animal, obviously, but no 2 different sheds are alike. If that makes sense. So.
Yeah, shed hunting's funny because I feel like it's something that some people, for whatever reason, are better than others at it. Like, because even though it seems just random, but when you're consistently finding sheds more than somebody else, it's got to be more than just random. And the example that comes to my head is I was telling you about my brother-in-law that his name's Chase Tinney, and he's super into hunting, archery hunting. Like he's the hunter of all of us. I mean, I'd consider him even a bigger hunter than I am. That's what really his only hobby that I know of. That's not true. He likes to mountain bike too. But anyways, he's a big hunter, but he cannot find sheds.
Really?
Yeah. We'll go on shed outings.
I've seen some of your guys' little outings that you guys go out on.
And our secret is you just go on private land that nobody's been on for a really long time because my in-laws, their cousin has a cabin in Cloudcroft, New Mexico.
Cool.
And so with where that's at, it's not accessible to a lot of different people. So so we've been on these shed hunting trips and just killed it, but it's because it's not because I'm a super good shed hunter or anything. It's just because not a lot of people are in there.
Yeah.
But even on those trips, like for whatever reason, Chase just has no luck. He hates it. Like he likes going out because he likes to hike and stuff, but he just does not have any luck. Now my wife's brother, so that's my wife's sister's husband. Yeah. My wife's brother, his name is also Chase. It's confusing, but he is extremely good at shed hunting. For whatever reason, he's got that. Like he'll glass them up. He's super tactful, I guess. He's very strategic, I guess is the word, for how he does this, and he's always finding sheds. Like even when we're out hunting, he'll come with us, and he likes to hunt too. He's not as into it, he's busy doing other things, but he'll come out on hunting trips. But sometimes when we'll be hunting, he'll go shed hunting because he loves shed hunting.
So I'm like right in between. Like we'll be hiking to get to a knob, and I'm like looking around like where is stuff, like and I'll find a few. And Duskin and I, like last year we were hiking, we had a couple hunts together, and he's on a mission, and I'm like, hey, you walked right by that thing, and he's like, dude, I'm just like driven, and I'm like moseying back behind picking up scraps. But I love it. I really enjoy. A lot of people, not a lot. There's some people that just don't get it and they bash on it. I'm like, I don't know why. It's
why wouldn't you want a cool antler?
It's another reason to get out and put your boots on the ground and just give you another thing to do.
People will call shed hunters like it's the participation trophy, like it's not but
Can I ask a dumb question? I was telling Lamar before we started, like I didn't grow up hunting. My dad sold firearms from his business, so I feel like I don't have a good excuse for not growing up hunting, except we just never took us out. But so I don't know a lot of things in the world of hunting, but one thing I've always been curious about that maybe you guys can answer. A deer sheds every year, right? Why is it every year they survive, the antlers grow bigger.
It's just the deer getting older.
So the older the deer, the faster their antlers grow, and the more.
No, I wouldn't say faster.
It's
maybe faster in general, because I guess they are getting bigger, and so they have to grow double the time, maybe.
Right. I mean, as far as I know, it's just like how just the deer itself is getting bigger, so that part of its body just gets bigger the older it gets. But deer also will have they'll start to degress too. So when they get too old, their antlers will actually start to shrink. So it's just like as the deer gets to its peak of its life, that's when its antlers.
Yeah.
Well,
I would say
it also has to do with
genetics, water.
Yeah, with the water and the feed that's available that year,
Yeah.
But
I would say the best way I've thought about it, and this is totally just my thoughts, is antlers are like the deer's muscle. Like each person is a little different with their muscle build. They have potential to grow a certain size of muscle if they have the right amount of nutrients. And a smaller kid is going to have smaller muscles than a bigger guy, right?
Yeah.
So I've thought about that too, and so each year that deer loses his testosterone, and so the antlers fall off. They go from just kind of cruising, being buddies, and then all of a sudden they're enemies, and they're just, because it's mating season, so they're in the rut, they're wanting to kill each other, and then their testosterone is just freaking spiked, and then they just tanks off, and their bone density gets low, and then they drop their antlers off, and then that testosterone and that feed and that the nutrients start coming back in, and they grow them back, and then they'll grow a bigger, stronger set. And I think it's all about nature too, because that's what they use for. That's their knife. That's their
fighting
that's
mechanism.
That's their punch.
Right.
That's how they fight. I don't know.
It is. Yeah. No, I'd agree with all that. It's crazy because you'll hear. A lot of it has to do with
these are questions I've always wondered and I've always been too afraid to ask, and now I'm doing it.
Don't be scared, man. Everybody has these questions.
Do you have
and honestly,
we're probably
at the risk of looking like an idiot.
Do you have Chat GPT?
Yeah, I love
those. Those are really good questions you can ask.
I've learned to use Chat GPT a lot in like the last month, and it's amazing.
Yeah, I've used it quite a bit.
Chat GPT is so cool.
Mm-hmm.
What was I gonna say? Oh, but yeah, a big factor is the amount of rain, because you'll hear, your big time hunters that sometimes in Arizona,
they'll skip a year if they didn't get good rain because the animals aren't worth
exactly.
it.
Because in Arizona, it's like a bonus point system. So the more you don't get drawn, the more points you get. And so there's people that are waiting for an elk tag, and they might have 20 bonus points. They haven't drawn a tag for 20 years. And then this year is a good chance that they're gonna draw, but because it didn't rain or something, they're like, I'm just gonna put in for the bonus point. I don't want to tag this year because of that. So
yeah, antler growth is. I mean, and then now you're going into like the trophy hunting side of things, which I totally am all for. I'm for everything. Like I'm not one way or another with any of that. And so, man, if you want a trophy hunt, sure.
My thing is, as long as you're respecting the animal,
do it your way.
Yeah, I don't blame people for wanting to hold out for a bigger animal. I mean, that's kind of where I'm at. I've taken enough deer in my life that I'm not going to shoot the first 2-point I see, just because it's part of it. I'm all about the challenge with hunting. I love having a challenge, and so killing a bigger deer is more of a challenge because there's not as many of them. So, but yeah, I'm the same way. Like, why anyone judges anybody for how they like to hunt is annoying, because it's personal. People can do what they want as long as you're being respectful and you're not out just shooting animals just to shoot them. I am against that, obviously.
Unethical.
Yeah, as long as you're being ethical. Yeah, if anything, trophy hunting could be argued that it's in a way more ethical because it's a lot easier to go and kill a baby deer. Kill a little spike. They're just not as smart.
Yep.
But
yeah, no, I agree 100%.
Yeah. What other questions do you have, Davis? Not just we're probably not the people to really ask those, but I don't know. We've grown up doing it. I feel like we're probably pretty educated on the topic. I was going to ask you, so tell us the story behind Lucky Tines.
Lucky Tines. Yeah. What do you want to know? What
did it? So what we talk about a lot in the podcast is how you get to where you are today.
Okay.
So, Lucky Tines, I don't really know anything about it other than what I've seen on Facebook. So tell us like the idea behind it, how you got that idea, how it flourished, you know, what your goals are with it, I guess.
Cool. Well, I mean, that's cool that you're seeing some of the posts, I guess. I try really hard to post. It's so hard. It's so hard as you guys are business owners, right? You know, you're always wondering if your content is being received or appreciated or all that. So I don't, that's always been the marketing side of things. I don't know much about it. And, so I'm glad that you've seen some things on there. Lucky Tines. I guess the best way I could describe Lucky Tines, obviously it's a small business that I have, but it's an avenue for me, to do everything that we just were talking about. Just my hobby of the outdoors. It's a way that I can express myself through the outdoors using a brand, and spend a lot of time just daydreaming. I'm a dreamer. I found that I'm a dreamer that didn't think I could accomplish my dreams. I don't know if you guys have ever had questions or felt feelings like that, but I always had dreams, but I just never felt like I could actually make those come about.
I think that's probably the majority of people. So I think there's a lot of people that can relate to that. Yeah.
Yeah. And I've struggled with that self-confidence so much through my life that I feel like I've always had good ideas, dreams, just things that I wanted to put out there, but just never was brave enough to do it. And so Lucky Tines for me that's my avenue. That's my stretch. That's me just doing something and going for it. And, it's just a way to express what's in my head with the outdoors. And my goal with Lucky Tines is obviously I like to sell apparel. I guess I like to network.
So is that strictly what it is?
That's the product, right?
The product is just different apparel.
Yeah. So it's just a brand. It's a brand. Yeah. So Lucky Tines is something that I was sitting there one day and I saw four-leaf clover, and I saw the shape of it. And I was like, I never really noticed how it was a heart. It's like, okay. And then I was like looking at different antler configurations of deer, antelope, elk, just anything that has antlers. I'm like, I think you can make anything, not anything. I think you can make an antler shaped into a clover. And so just lots of times sketching and just messing around with things, and finally found somebody that could make my logo come to life. I sent him a sketch and he's like, yeah, dude, that's awesome.
Is it someone you knew or
I reached out to him
online?
On Instagram. Yeah.
Okay.
It's Instagram actually. And his name's Eric Forrest, and reached out to him, and I saw some of his art that he'd done before. And I'm like, dude, this guy is like really good at, because anybody previous to this, I actually had some people try to help me, and all they did was clip art, like copy and paste and put text underneath it. I'm like, cool, but I want something original. Yeah. And so what I did is I sketched and I just doodled and just all these designs, sent it over to him, and he's like, dude, this idea is sweet. I think I can do it. So he sent me different little things here and there, and finally we settled on something. And
so did you buy that rights to it? So, or did he just kind of say, hey, you can use this?
No, he's so cool, man. He's like, yeah, he's just like, and I've had him do other things for me too. And he's like, I just pay him for his services. He calls it like a consultation kind of. Okay. No, not consultation. Consulting work. I don't know. But pretty much he just keeps track of his hours and his time and says this how much I'll charge. I charge this much to do it per minute or per hour or whatever. And we settle on a price at the end. And he's always just been really easy to work with. But that was key, is finding somebody that could not just copy and paste clip art. Anybody can do that. And I've seen so many logos, which I'm sure you guys have too, of just somebody just pulled something off the internet. I wanted something hand drawn, original. But
that's awesome. Well, it's a sweet logo. It's on your hat. I'm staring at it. So if anyone watching, it's that logo on Lamar's hat there.
And so I just back to the logo wise, I just was sitting there one day and saw the clover, and I'm like, I think a lot of people, me included, use luck in everyday life. We use the word luck. I think you said it even once or twice sitting here, that you that you got lucky. We use that in business. We use that with our spouse, with at work, whatever. That sounded really weird, using with our spouse.
Hey, I'd like to get more lucky.
Edit that out.
No, leave it in. That's a good stuff.
But luck, I think it's used in everyday language. And I got to thinking about that, like, what is luck? And what do I think about, what is my definition of luck? And that led me to this. I'm like, okay, I'm going to gear it towards the outdoors world. I can make an antler into it now. I've got the clover, and it's kept evolving. Like when I first came out with it, I was using the old, what everybody says, like, I'd rather be lucky than good.
Mm-hmm.
And sure, that works. But I've evolved into that. Luck really is such so many different definitions of luck. I think you could ask somebody the same, what's your definition of luck? And everybody would have a little bit different definition of it. And mine that I've come to with the brand is more so like, make your own luck. That luck can be luck, and it can just be an opportunity, but it stays that if you don't capitalize on it.
Mm-hmm.
And that can be in life in general, with business, with work, hunting, hobbies, whatever it is. You're going to get presented with an opportunity, and if you haven't done your previous work, preparation, dedication, then it just stays luck, and it just passes on by.
Mm-hmm.
Or you turn that luck into an opportunity, which is success.
Yeah. Luck's funny because luck can almost be used kind of as like a cop out. Like, it bugs me when I hear people say that guy's so lucky. Like, see someone that's super successful, like, man, that guy's lucky. Like, look at where he's at. He's so lucky. And obviously luck is always a part of it, but like you said, if you're creating your own luck, it means you're doing a lot of the work that people don't see. Yeah,
you're doing all that that behind the scenes work. Because and again, people get lucky. Don't get me wrong. Like a new hunter, let's just use hunting for example. They'll go out. Say Davis wants to go out tomorrow, and he's going to go to a place that I wouldn't go, because he's inexperienced, right, with that, and he'll find something that wasn't there, that got over, or that is there because it got overlooked. Mm-hmm. I would consider that kind of beginner's luck, right? Mm-hmm. Now the difference is, he found what he was looking for. Is he going to connect with it? Maybe. And then again, maybe he got lucky, right? Mm-hmm. But can you repeat that over and over and over and over and have that happen? And I guess that's where, like, my take on it is that you can only get lucky so many times before you have to have something that I guess takes over from that luck. So.
One of our first guests was Weston Wiltbank, and he said something that we've repeated a few times. He said fortune favors the bold.
Yeah, or luck favors hard work.
Yeah, and I have thought about that so many times since he said that, and I had never heard it before.
Say it again. What was it?
Fortune favors the bold.
Yeah,
and the way I interpret that is, you're going to get lucky if you go out and do what you say you're going to do, or what you put your mind to.
And that's the cool thing.
The
with
people who aren't getting lucky are the ones that aren't doing anything and just
putting in any effort.
Complaining. Yeah.
And so, and that is the other hard thing with this brand, Lucky Tines, is that it can be it can have different depths to different people. For the beginning hunter, maybe they're just thinking about hopefully doing that, just going out and getting lucky, having something happen. But for a more seasoned hunter, he's thinking of the opposite of, like, I put the time in, I put the work in, I put the dedication in, I'm going to go make my own luck. And he knows that if he's there and he's put all of his time in, when that opportunity comes, he's going to capitalize on it. And that's what I really like about the brand that I feel like I've created is that there is depth to it, and it can connect with everybody, down to a new hunter all the way to an old seasoned hunter. And because anybody can take their version of what's their version of luck, and what does it take for them to have that.
Yeah.
So
so tell us kind of like the business side of it, as far as who do you just do hats? All I've really seen is hats. Do you do hats and t-shirts? What all are you selling?
Hats and t-shirts. Yeah. It's and my wife asked me. She asked me, "What's your goal with this?" And I said, "I don't know. I don't know what it is. I just know that I want to do it because I've told myself that for years that I'm not good enough to do it. That I don't know enough. The imposter syndrome. That I'm not that person to do it. I'm not the face for a brand, or my ideas aren't good enough, or whatever. And finally, there came a point where I said, I need to just step forward and just go for it. And so it's turned into where, I'm doing hats and shirts. I have some stickers, but it's more so I can connect with people. I've found that I love networking and connecting with people, talking with somebody, like somebody buys a hat. It means the world to me because they thought their hard-earned money was good enough for one of my ideas. And therefore I want to be their friend. I want to know who they are. I want to know why, they do what they do, and just get to know them. So it's been pretty cool. It's been pretty cool to connect with people who I never would have connected with before.
Have you how did you decide, tell us about the process of making the hat. Like, do you just have a company that you use? Have you used multiple companies? What goes into that?
I got really lucky. No luck. Through the process of networking, I met a friend at the Hunt Expo in Salt Lake City. Have you ever been to that yet? And just started talking. I was like, "Hey man, I really like your hats, your product. Who does that for you?" And he shared it with me. So I reached out to them. So a lot of these things have been from just asking questions. I found that, again, being bold and just talking, opening your mouth and just saying, "Dude, I really like what you got on. Like, where did you get that from? Who did that for you?" And so I was able to find this company in Utah that does the hats, and I really liked their material, their process, and it costed a little bit more, but I was willing to pay a little bit more for a good product. Just the quality control and them working with me, like design wise, like I'll send them an idea and she's like, "No, that doesn't work. Like, let's try this." And she'll send it back to me. I'm like, "No, I'm not digging that." And she's like, "What don't you dig?" And I'll circle, and then she'll just back and forth 10, 15 times. And all of a sudden it's like, yeah, that's it. Or I'll be like, "Dude, I'll trust your judgment," and they'll turn over a product. I'm like, "You killed it. Great." So.
Are pretty much, so is this logo on your hat, is that logo in all of your products?
Yeah.
Or everything? Okay.
Yeah,
and then you kind of do different variations of it? Or?
Yeah. So, and that's the other problem is I don't know what people like. And so I've got just almost maybe too many options, color options, different logos. But I've got another one. It's four antlers that make a clover. So that's another option I have. Just trying to find what people like. I don't know what people like.
Yeah.
I guess I could just do all black across the board and just be so neutral, like with a black hat and just a leather patch. But I like variety, and I don't know what people.
Well, and the more you do it, and the more orders and stuff you get, you'll start to learn what people like and kind of what you can specialize, or not specialize, but gear your style towards.
And I've weeded out some of those designs. I'm like, those just aren't selling. And finding what people like, but people don't make it easy either, because everything's pretty even across the board with what sells out. So but I have been fortunate enough to have to reorder and shirts and hats, and so that's been very humbling that I've been able to do that, and so far just been doing it on Instagram, in social media. I have a website that I'm pretty much ready to roll with. I'm just so I'm a little inexperienced and nervous to pull the trigger on it to launch it, because I don't know how smooth it'll run, how to do all like the orders that way. I know I can answer a text or a DM and just say, "Yeah, I've got you, send me your address. We'll make it work. We'll correspond that way." I'm afraid of the disconnect with the online,
Right.
with the online stuff. So that's my next hurdle to overcome, is figuring out that online distribution.
How much time has passed since the first product that you sold until now?
Yeah. It was June of 24. So
Okay.
almost a year. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Do you have like a running count of how many sales you have?
No, I don't. I did for a little bit because it was so low.
That's
It's
good.
Still,
That's
it's
good
still
that it's
pretty,
gone up
that
there.
That sounded a little bit arrogant there.
No, it didn't.
No, it's still somewhat low, but it's enough where I've lost count. So
That's
I
awesome.
do remember the first person that bought a hat that I didn't know.
Mm-hmm.
I texted my wife. I was like, "You'll never believe this. Somebody bought a hat that I don't know who they
That's
are."
awesome.
Yeah.
And then somebody else hit me up from Nevada, from Elko, Nevada, and he's become a friend now, and he was the first one to order multiple hats and out of state, and I was like, "Oh, this is cool." And just to get a compliment. My thing is, I don't know, and it's probably just website wise, is I get compliments on it. I just don't know how to take it to the next level.
Uh-huh.
Which I don't know. That's the other thing too, is I'm very dependent on others to create my product. I'd like to be able to create my own product and be able just to have it on hand.
Uh-huh.
I'm nervous to sell out of a product and then have it there and then have people want it, not
Right.
be able to fulfill an order.
Right, because you're probably ordering it in bulk and then selling them out,
Yep.
and then so if
So like
that's a hard game to play, yeah.
my last hat order was like 150 hats. It's not cheap, but once it gets there, I'm like, okay, it's here. I want to sell them, but I also don't want to sell them because I don't want to order more and
then be sitting on it
then
forever.
be sitting on
yeah.
it because you understand. But so it's but back to like the whole networking thing with it. That it's been so fun just to connect, because again, it leads back to my insecurities and incompetence, feeling incompetent, of being able to connect with somebody,
Mm-hmm.
knowing that have value, that I bring something to the table, and I have my ideas worthwhile. I've always just struggled with that internal feeling of just shelling myself up and not letting my ideas flow, just out of fear of judgment or rejection or failure. So just finding that people connecting with like this guy from Elko, we've never met face to face, but we've corresponded all the time, and he'll reach out like, "Hey dude, cool product," or "Hey, what are you doing? Did you put in for the draw? This and that."
Yeah.
So I've been able to connect with a few guys like that, and it's just definitely wouldn't have if I didn't take that bold leap. So,
Yeah, I love those types of relationships, because you never know where they might end up, 5 years down the road, 10
Mhm.
years down the road.
Yeah.
A lot with what we do, is just talking to a lot of different people. And when I was first doing loans, that's all I did was just reach out to realtors, and I'm still
just trying to create a connection,
just trying
a
to connect,
relationship
just
with
get your
them.
name out there, and kind of seeing where it goes. And there's hundreds more that never went anywhere than the few, the handful that went somewhere. But those ones that I really connected with are some of my best friends and best referral
Cool.
partners today. But I didn't know what that was going to turn into, that,
Yeah.
when I first reached out to that person. So, who knows the relationships that you're building now, who knows where that relationship will be 5 or 10 years from now.
Yeah.
I worked at Verizon before I did loans, and all the time I'm shocked at how many of my Verizon customers have become clients
Mm-hmm.
that need a home loan. And
Yep.
I'm like,
Just
okay, maybe there
just
is something to
transferred
this
over.
networking thing,
Yeah.
And that's why it's so important to always just be yourself, but be a good person, treat people right. Don't, be likable,
Yeah.
and because you never know when whoever you run into that day, you might be able to help out, or,
Yeah.
might be a business partner down the road.
No, 100%. And yeah, I've found so much joy in that aspect of just, again, coming here and chatting with you guys. Like, nervous to do it. I don't feel like I do very good speaking with like on the spot questions or expressing myself, but it's fun. I enjoy chatting with people now. Like I look forward to it. I have a few products over at Heel Outdoor, just the local outdoor shop here in town. And it's just fun to go. I've made friends with those guys, you know, and just get to go visit them once a week. Hey, is there any product that I need to replace? I've got kind of a deal worked out with them where I supply the product, they sell it, and we meet on a price. And it's cool just to get the name out there. But it's, again, I've been there several times chatting with those guys, and just they become friends. And then somebody walks up and buys a hat, and I go up to them, hey, I want to just thank you. That really means a lot.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, this is yours? I'm like, yeah, man, thank you for. The other day I ran into somebody. I work at the college. That's my 9-to-5 job. And this kid was walking down the street with one of my hats on that I've never seen. And I went up to him like, hey, I just want to thank you. That's my brand. And he's like, oh, cool. He's like, I bought it at Heel Outdoor. I'm like, I thank you for supporting me. Like,
yeah.
that means a lot.
That's awesome.
So just trying to be personal with it. And each order that I do, it's hard, but I try to write a handwritten note to it and deliver it and just express like, hey, this is what the brand means to me. I hope it brings, you some luck, kind of thing. And thank you for supporting me. Like it's there. I'm not doing it for the financial gain. I guess that's one thing I'm not doing. I'm not doing it I'm not making a living off of it. It's, I've got to cover my costs, and I'll make a little bit just to keep doing it. I'm doing it to create those relationships and to feel like, hey, I am worth something. For so many years I told myself I wasn't. And it's the wrong thing to say. It's the wrong thing to go about, because I'm seeing that these ideas that I've had for years, somebody thinks they're cool, But
that's awesome. You do you feel like those conversations you mentioned, having a hard time going out and putting yourself out there, do you feel like that aspect of it is getting easier the more you do it?
Yeah, definitely. I was almost embarrassed to even put a hat on, because I wasn't sure, like, people were like, oh, what's that? And like, have to talk to them about it. But now it's like, I have pride with it. I do. I love my brand, because it's again, it's my vision expressed, via image, I guess, if that makes sense. And so I'm proud of it now. And it's something that I'm just constantly trying to evolve and to perfect, I guess. And the meaning, again, is always changing. And that's what's been kind of cool is that I can talk with somebody all the way down from a beginner hunter all the way to a guy that's in his, that's seen it and done it all, and connect somehow with them through a brand and through the word luck or through an experience. And I've really enjoyed that. Really enjoyed just finding common ground somehow.
Yeah. You mentioned earlier, I can't remember if we were recording or not, but you mentioned the content creation and like finding, being consistent in posting on Instagram or, wherever, how that is difficult. And I remember when I first started doing loans, that's, how I did a lot of my marketing was just, I would spend hours recording one video because I was so self-conscious about that video. Like I would record it and then look at it and just absolutely hate it. And then the more I do, the worse it would get. And you just completely overanalyze everything, which when you're at that point in doing it, it makes it super hard to put content out there because it takes so long.
Yep. I'm
to the point now where I haven't gotten any better at recording videos, but I've done it so much because I've been doing loans for 8 years now. So I've done it so much that I don't care anymore. I'm like, that probably sounds like crap, right? I don't overanalyze it. So I think the more you do it too, the more comfortable you'll be getting at that. And that really is the key with any type of social media marketing is consistency.
Yep.
You've just got to, and it's so, I still struggle. I'm like, I'm probably annoying so many people, that they're like, oh, here's Isaac talking about loans again. They don't even watch it, but you got to just get past that. And I still struggle with it sometimes because you've got to put the content out there so that people know what you do, so that when there is that one person that needs to buy a house, they're like, oh yeah, I remember Isaac did this video a week 100%. Ago. I'll see if he, has any advice for me or whatever. So
I like that you brought that up because still today, I if I was to film some content, it would be more than 2 takes.
Yeah. And I still, I mean, I still do that too. But it doesn't take hours anymore,
yeah,
you know?
But yeah, it's so hard. And with a brand, because you guys have your own image, right? Your brand, your business. And so you're the face of that, right? For your, would it be your branch? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I was gonna say your chapter, but yeah, your branch.
I always explain it to people as we opened our own Chick-fil-A.
Yeah.
our mortgage office is like opening our own Chick-fil-A. Yeah. That's the easiest way to explain it.
Well, and just realizing that people, if they're going to come to you, they're going to come to you because of who you are, and you got to be the face of it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's, again, another hurdle just for me to overcome is being confident that people are not looking at your facial features as much as you think they are, or the way you said a word or how you sound. I listen to my voice. I'm like, dang, man, that's bad.
Yeah. I hate, like Isaac was saying, overanalyzing. I hate everything about me recording a video.
Yeah. But then
this has definitely helped though.
But then you do it, and then you get a compliment. And you're like, oh, well, okay, maybe I can do it. Or they reach out and they send you a sincere, like, hey, like, I want to just let you know personally, I really enjoyed what you said and how you said it. And here I am thinking, oh, okay, that was unexpected. And so it's those genuine people that reach out and make it worth it.
And I'm no expert by any means. I do not consider myself a, what's the word? An influencer. That is not me.
You're Gila Valley influencers.
Yeah, I really don't. I'm not an expert. But what I have learned is you can't, because I used to be like, oh, get down like, oh, there's only freaking 3 likes on this video, or, whatever. It doesn't matter, because there's you views. Never know. There's views. And even if it's not showing a bunch of views, someone's looking at it, and you never know when you're going to post that one that is going to bring you business. Like, for example, I trust me, I do not get a lot of views. Like, I'm well aware of that, but I can tell you that my social media posts have brought me business. There's no denying that.
Yes.
And like, for example, all I did was share someone else's post about, it was Eric, he's our recruiter for our corporate. He's like a corporate recruiter. He did a post about joining the Sierra Pacific team. I shared that just on the story and then put my own little spin on it as far as like some words on it. And within 5 minutes, I had a realtor calling me that says, hey, I know somebody that, might want to do loans. I think he'd be really good. And me and Davis interviewed him last week. Like, and it was just off of a simple Facebook post. Like, if I don't do that post, and that could potentially down the road, if we hire this guy, could potentially mean a lot of business down the road, all from one silly little post that I didn't know if it would, and honestly, that post probably had 3 people view it or 3 people like it. But one of those 3 was someone that led to us potentially hiring this guy. So
the other 2 are your parents.
The other 2 are my mom and dad. Yeah, actually, just my mom, and then someone hit it by accident.
No, just kidding.
But no, it's true though. Like that's why I think I've kind of been able to get past it myself. Is that I don't consider myself an influencer. It's just, this is how I do a lot of my marketing for my job, and it's okay that I don't have thousands and millions of views. Like, it's just I would love that because it would mean more business, but my success it's not dependent on those views, but those views help. But I'm obviously doing a lot of loans, so it's working for what it is. Right. So another thing that I've learned, and sorry, I say if I'm talking too much, but
I'm enjoying it.
With marketing on social media and stuff, like with your brand and everything, you've got to find excuses to do a post, even if it's a silly excuse, even if it's, hey, I just did the Who Is This podcast, go do a post about it. Say, talking about my brand. And it's a reason to do a post, and you've got to find reasons so that you can be consistent so that it starts showing up in people's feeds.
Yeah. And I totally agree with that. Just my mind is constantly trying to think of, oh, that would be cool, or that. And then also reposting other people's stuff. Mm-hmm. I found, I love, that's another part of the brand is enjoying other successes too. And acknowledging other people's success. Because everybody's story deserves to be told and acknowledged, whether, whatever success it was, it deserves it. And it doesn't matter how they were able to do it. They just need to be celebrated for it. And so that's why I really like what you guys are doing. Is I think there's a lot of people in the area that just have something to say, that have value to bring. And I'm sure that you guys have been the ones to not, what's the word I'm looking for? Like to gain so much from listening to all these different people.
Oh,
Totally.
100%. Yeah.
It's like teaching a lesson, right? You're the people that you teach, you get way more out of it preparing for it than you do actually teaching. And same with you guys, like you're interviewing somebody, right, or talking to somebody, but you just get to meet so many different people.
The people that we bring on the podcast are definitely providing a lot more value to us than we are to them. Than we are to them.
I don't know.
So thank you to all of our guests.
I don't know. I think it's somewhat mutual. But I like what you guys are doing. It's cool because I think there's a lot of people in the Gila Valley that.
Dude, there's so many.
It's a lot of fun too.
It's so much fun, and there's so many because whenever like I start like thinking about who are we gonna have on next? As soon as I sit down and actually think about it, it's so easy to think of people like, oh, he could do it, she could do it. Like it's so easy to think of different individuals.
Coordinating is the hardest part, probably. Just getting them to say yay and come on.
Sometimes it's like, yeah, just let me know and I'll.
Yeah, it depends on the individual. Some people have no interest whatsoever.
Taylor Banks, it took us a year to get her.
Yeah. Taylor finally came and did it, but that was more of not her willingness, but just schedule wise. There's people that like, I won't say anyone by name, but I'm thinking of people specifically right now that I'm like, you would be an awesome podcast, but they just have no desire to talk about themselves. Yeah. And I'm like, I get it, I guess, but come on, we need more of you. We need you to come on. So
yeah.
And I know that those type of people would have a lot of valuable things to share. A lot of super successful business men and women that, for whatever reason, just don't like talking about themselves. And I think that part of that is maybe insecurities. I don't know. Yeah. I've definitely gotten better at it the more that we've done it. But it's not a common thing to come and sit with a microphone in your face and have cameras in your face. Yeah.
But at the same time, like I'm definitely self-taught with most everything I've done. And so I'm always open to hear somebody's take on it, get some info, get some help somehow, with business wise, marketing, whatever. So I'm constantly listening to podcasts, watching how somebody else is doing something, just trying to figure it out. Cause it's all so new to me. And in the end, it's so nice to know that I'm only doing it just to connect with people. And it's like I don't depend on. It'd be a little bit more stressful if I was dependent on the income, but I'm not. It's just it really is just kind of a little side hobby, but it's so fun just to connect with people and kind of just looking for that next little step, just to see where it goes. Like you never know. Like you said, I love that you never know who you're gonna connect with today, next day.
To grow this, the Lucky Times, what do you think that next step is? Do you think it's the website?
I think
probably?
So. I think that'd be, because I think there's a lot of people that don't want to
I've just been thinking, go ahead, sorry.
Oh, no. What? I want to hear what you say.
I'm thinking about all the places your apparel could be.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, I wonder why it's not already there.
Well, and it's probably just out of, because I don't know.
I'm gonna mention some things after we get off.
Yeah, do it. I'd love to hear it, because several people have mentioned it too, and it's more so out of me not wanting to make that stretch at the moment, or thinking that it won't work maybe.
But let me interject. That's what you were talking about earlier, you not being. Again, so you've already made that step of here you are trying, but you still have that in the back of your head saying it's not going to get any better than this, but it's just a matter of doing it, man.
And it's a constant, like, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's a daily thing for me of like even today, I didn't post for a few days, and I'm like, all right, man, just do it. It'll be all right. Just do it. Because I just hate, I'm thinking of like, well, if I do it, then blah, blah, blah. But,
yeah.
And to answer your question though, like, I think there's a lot of people, like, maybe the next step would be a website, because there is a lot of people that maybe don't want to DM and just reach out or pay via Zelle or Venmo type of a deal and be more of just not communicate as much. And so I think there's definitely a market. And I could advertise better, like putting just a website.
Yeah, with your current sales, are most of your sales people here in the Gila Valley, or do you have like a lot of people from out of state? Is it a mix?
It's a mix. It's a heavy mix, and so, and that's the other thing too, is that there is a niche with it. So it takes a certain crowd.
Mm-hmm.
It's not going to go just to anybody, but so it's definitely the outdoors community. So just trying to follow, befriend, or whatever through Instagram and stuff.
I think that there is a niche, but also I feel like somebody that is not a hunter could wear that. And
cool.
Yeah, like I'm not.
It's a cool brand.
Yeah.
It's a cool logo.
Yeah.
It
you.
looks really good. I would, in my eyes, and I think that a website would be big for you.
Yeah.
If I were you, I think that's what I would focus my next step being.
Pretty much is like it's built. It just has to pretty much like get like okayed and published kind of a thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like a kind of a Shopify account.
Yeah.
And it would help a lot with keeping everything organized. Everything's all like it's all done on my phone or a piece of paper and like just so-and-so had this order, okay, I've got to get this order out, and and just being able to legitimize things just a little bit more, like just keeping everything organized. That would help a lot.
I think that if you're wanting it to really grow, people will look for a website. And so honestly, someone that when you're ready to make that step, and like you should talk to Royce Hunt Bell. She did the podcast probably 3 or 4 episodes ago.
Okay.
Listen to that one. But then like when you're ready to because she's built her business on online sales, and it's a very successful business.
Cool.
And so it's something
very, very niche,
extremely niche.
Cool.
But she just had some event where she had like 45 people from across the country. They signed up for this event to come to our little town and do this event with her, and she's already sold it out for next year. And that's not even close to how many clients or customers that she has with what she does. So online, like technology and where we're at, like it's you could grow this probably as big as you wanted it to, because it's good to have a niche with you want to focus on a particular client, because if you don't, then you're just throwing feelers out all over, but if you focus and really market towards that particular client, it's good to have that. Mm-hmm. And there's a ton of people in the hunting community. Yeah. I mean, think about how many brands there are and stuff so I think you have a cool product that if you really wanted to, I think you could, make it bigger if that's really what you were wanting to do.
It is. And it all kind of comes back to how much like I've got to figure out like, that whole product thing too is like, okay, like what's my turnaround times? Like how much can I keep on hand? And the ultimate would be for me to have my own business where I'm cranking the product out. Yeah. And that's been on my mind lately. I just don't know if I want to take that responsibility on and put another iron in the fire with that. Mm-hmm. But it's been something I've been thinking about, because that would solve a lot of problems. Yeah. But I've already got somebody that knows how to do it and is helping me out with it too. So
right. So your hats, you have like the leather patch. The shirts, do you just do like vinyl?
No, it's they're screen printed.
They're screen printed.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I found the same guy that and this one isn't my shirt actually. This is the guy that designed it for me. His name's Eric, and he has his own brand, Sonoran Made. And he was using these people, and I'm like, I love the quality. And so I reached out to them, and they've hit it out of the park. So
that's cool.
They've been really super easy to work with and super cool people, and so that's been easy. So
that's awesome.
But,
well, cool, man. We got about 2% left on this camera. So what's the best way? Where can people? What is your Instagram? What do people find you on Instagram?
Lucky Tines AZ.
Okay.
So, and hit me up and give me a follow, and we'll become friends.
And the best way to order is just to DM you on that.
Yeah.
Sure I am.
Yeah.
If
Just
not,
through.
I will be.
Yeah. You're a follower, you think?
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. I'm on Facebook, Lamar Skinner, just on Facebook, but on Instagram, Lucky Tines AZ. And then, just figuring out how to, I think you're totally right. Is I'm jumbled in that aspect. Mm-hmm. And it's all just been because of inexperience. So just being able to
You're only a year in,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
the fact that you're already, I mean, you mentioned once that you do 150 orders at a time, and
Yeah.
you've done multiple orders, it sounds like. So
Yeah.
that's awesome.
Yeah, I've been able to do a couple orders of that. So product's moving. So
Yeah.
it's been cool.
Well, cool, man. Well, thanks for your time, man.
Thanks,
We had a good time.
It's a pleasure.
So,
I appreciate it.
it's a lot of
Glad-
fun.
Glad we got to finally connect.
I need to get a hat.
I'd
Yeah.
love to go hunt with you someday.
Let's do it.
I'm not
Let's do it, dude.
Why did you say that so creepy?
There's so
because I feel
many-
like I'm inviting myself, and
dude, anytime.
I'm
There's-
talking to the big time.
There's so many other people that are so much better at it than I am, but you're always welcome. Always welcome.
Okay.
Let's do it.
Okay.
Cool. Thanks, Lamar.
All right.
Thank you.
Like Gucci.